Hi, and welcome to another episode of Mark's Motivational Podcast, another solo episode. This is the first one I've done in a video, so I thought I'd give this a go. So, as you've probably been listening over the last while, thanks a lot for tuning in to all the podcasts. This one is one where I'm going to read out one of my stories from my new book. That's my first cover of the first book. Behind me there, The Adventures of Larry Lamppost and Friends. Big thank you to everybody who's bought the book so far. Really appreciate it, and I hope your kids are getting fun out of it. And Fáilte Rash means welcome back in Irish. One of my other loves is the Irish language. Some great stuff on YouTube, and there's some great apps you can check out as well that for improving your language. Like Duolingo is great, and there's one uh Irish speaking language. It's I think I've got that right. It's on Spotify. I'll share the link to that. It's great if anybody's got an interest in. It's the spoken word in Irish, which is the most important thing I think. For any language, is learning how to communicate. Is the key. Not to worry so much about verbs and adverbs and all that kind of stuff. Just getting the spoken one is in my opinion the best way to do it. But yeah. So last week I did a challenge where I gave a prompt. I didn't get many people sending back, but I just thought I'd put it out there anyway. So I might give it another go this week. It's things I'll do this sort of summer. It'd be great if you could put a little story together, and I'll probably read it out on the next solo episode. So without further ado, this story is characters from the old book. It's Mimi and Bop Bop and Mihal. Their stories are made up for my youngest kid. So he loves. It's a great thing to make up stories for your kids. Like I got it from my own dad, and I've carried on the tradition. So here we go. So this story is called Mimi and Bop Bop and Mihal's Cycle. So Mimi got a new bike for his birthday. He was very excited to go out on it. So he asked his parents, could he go for a long cycle with his friends? They asked, where are you thinking of going? Up the mountains with Bop Bop and Mihal. Okay, be very careful. He called for them and asked, do you want to go for a cycle to Tree Rock up the mountains? They both said, yeah, that sounds like great fun. So they all headed off. They each brought a backpack of goodies for the day. Bop Bop's bike was a bit old, so his dad said, be very careful on it. But he didn't listen to him. He just cycled off with them. They started to climb to Tree Rock. They all said, this is harder than we thought it would be. I'm looking forward to coming down, says Mimi. They all agreed. They all reached the top after an hour. The view was great. They could see the whole of Dublin. Mihal said, there's me ma hanging out the washing. Bop Bop believed him, asking, where? Mimi and Mihal laughing, saying, he's only joking. Then Bop Bop said, I'm hungry. Us too. They tucked into their sandwiches and all the goodies. Mihal had a flask of hot water for tea. Bop Bop asked him, can I have some of your water, please? Of course you can. Of course you can. That will be €10. Here you go, said Bop Bop, and handed him €10. Chocolate coins. They all got a great laugh out of this. Then Mihal handed the flask to him. He didn't realize how big Bop Bop's cup was. He used half the flask of water and left hardly any water for anyone else. They weren't happy and very thirsty. He said sorry. He handed them a Capri Sun each and two Twix bars. That made them happy. After that, they all had full bellies. Mimi said, let's play a game. One of us has to say a favourite place in Dublin. and the rest has to see if we can see it. They all said, "That's a great idea. Who can see Christ Church?" Micheál pointed it out. "Fair play to you. Your turn," said Mimi. "Who can see our local chipper?" he said, laughing. "There is, there," said Bop Bop, pointing to a huge flag that hangs over the Roma chipper beside them. The lads couldn't believe it, saying, "I think you're right. I was only joking." It was starting to get a bit late, so they decided to make a move for home. Mimi led the way on his racer, flying down the mountain, followed by Bop Bop on his dodgy bike. But it was just as fast. Then came Micheál on his mountain bike. They got to the crossroads, so Mimi pulled his brakes to slow down. Bop Bop flew past him, pulling his brakes. That didn't work. He had to think quick, so he cycled into a ditch, thinking it's safer than the road. Poor Bop Bop hurt himself. He had a bad cut on his leg. He said to his friends, "Sorry about this. I'm wrecking your day." "Don't be silly, Bop Bop. Once you're okay, that's all that matters to us." They called Bop Bop's parents to tell him what happened. Bop Bop's dad had to come and collect him. Thankfully, he was okay the next day after getting bandaged up. His dad said, "You have to listen to us next time. I said to you the bike was dangerous. If you had have listened, you wouldn't be sore today." "I know, Dad, I'm sorry." His dad handed him a nice surprise. His dad had a nice surprise for him. A new racer like Mimi had. He said to his friends, "It worked out well in the end, didn't it, guys?" So that's it. That's the story of Mimi, Bop Bop, and Bally's trip to the mountains. So I hope you enjoyed that one, and thanks everyone for tuning in. And next week we'll have another guest on the podcast. Every second week I have another guest and guest author. So it's great to give authors from all over the world a voice. So till next time, I'd love to hear your feedback on these podcasts. And again, if you could write a story off that prompt, things I would do this side of summer, that would be amazing. So anything else coming up that I mention? No, that's really it. As you probably know, we run another podcast and it calls NLP Upskill Your Life, myself and Fintan. So I can share that, the notes or the link to that in the podcast as well. It's stuff that we help people out with NLP and hypnosis. So check it out. And we're doing it a while now. So it's been great talking to you again. Great to do another podcast. So till next time, take good care of yourselves and slán go fóill. Good morning. Good night. Hello everyone, Mark here. Thank you for watching another episode of my Authors Tuesday podcast. I recently published a book of children's stories called The Adventures of Larry Lamppost and Friends. The book began life as bedtime stories I wrote for my own children. If you'd like to purchase my book, follow the link in the description box below. By buying my book, you are also supporting my podcast series for authors, which is giving a voice to writers in Ireland and across the world.